Hello, and welcome to the first edition of Elite by Example. My name's Katie. I'm the Senior Marketer at Elite Associates, and I'd like to introduce you to our new series featuring inspirational individuals who are able to share their journeys, experiences, and show how they are elite by example. Each episode, we invite individuals from our business and specialists from our areas of expertise, which are luxury retail, fashion, beauty, hospitality, and fine jewelry and watches. And today I am joined by our Middle East director, Sana Sheikh-Ali. Firstly, thank you to Sana for joining me today.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
And how long have you been at Elite, and what was the start of your journey like?
So I have been at Elite Associates for 19 years. I started as a consultant on the UK operations team, 20 years in February next year.
Wow.
I know it's a long time. I started on the UK operations team where I was specializing in placing candidates as client advisors through to senior leadership teams in stores. And then in 2019, I decided to move away from the UK market. I'd had two children back to back. I have two daughters where I do need to lead by example. I wanted to do something different. I felt a little bit stagnant and I really had to think about, what my career looked like, my path to directorship. And ultimately I wanted to launch something and become a direct, and my children were my motivation with this. So I decided to take a risk and launch the Middle East market. And I spent 6 months learning the market because the Middle East market is small, and everyone thinks it's one region, but it's not. It's lots of different regions within the region. So you really need to understand the market and the nuances and, labor laws, employee relations, even the personalities of the individuals in those countries. And after learning that, I went from strength to strength and basically launched our Middle East division. And we pretty much work with majority of the leading luxury brands across retail operations and corporate functions across the Gulf.
Amazing. Thank you. So you, just going off on a tangent here.
Yeah.
Elite never worked in the Middle East before you launched it. It was a totally new market for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So there was maybe like one or two clients that have maybe used our services for the UAE maybe, but it was never a kind of function. And I basically had to start from scratch ultimately.
Amazing. So that leads me into my first real question. What was the biggest risk that you took in your career?
So the risk was that I was on a successful division, one of the most profitable divisions at Elite. I had a really, really nice client base. I was making a lot of money, and essentially I was going to give that up and start again.
Yeah.
And start from scratch and basically build something from nothing. And I think that was the biggest risk. But ultimately, I think if I didn't take that risk, I wouldn't have had the learning and development that I've received from taking that risk. There's been many ups and downs, and I'm sure you're going to ask me about those. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I took that risk.
Amazing. It's so interesting to hear. I didn't realize it was so risky. So yeah, it's going to be amazing to dig into this. So what 3 things have kept you here? I know that's probably quite hard. There's probably many, but what 3 things have kept you here for the last 20 years?
That's a really hard one to put into 3 things. I've got so many, but I would say entrepreneurialism is definitely what up there. And I am an example of that because I had an idea. I found a gap in the market with the Middle East. I was able and allowed to go and launch an area that hadn't been launched before. And, my CEO was super supportive of it and kind of not left me to it. Like, he doesn't leave me to it, but he was like, go for it.
Yeah,
Like
there's a
just
lot of
that,
trust there.
yeah, there's a lot of trust and a lot of drive behind me, support when I needed it, because it hasn't always been an easy journey. So yeah, so that was definitely one. I think flexibility as well. I feel like Elite Associates, we've moved with the times with regards to flexibility and, the what we offer in terms of benefits and, specifically around like working mothers as well, or anyone returning from maternity leave. Flexibility is so important to me, being a mother of 2 children and being in a high pressure job. And then I would say like growth and development. I feel like I have been allowed to showcase my ability alongside, I want to say, relationships, internal and external. So relationships with my peers and individuals that have either been in the business previously and are no longer with the business or currently in the business. And some of them have become lifelong friends, but also my relationships with my candidates and my partners.
Yeah, that's special.
Yeah, really, really special, which we'll come on to.
Yeah, that's also probably not normal, which I love.
No, I mean, like, well, it depends on what business you work in, but we're not micromanagers, and we allow people to be expressive with their relationships and their partnerships. And I've got to know so many individuals internally and externally who have become friends for life. And I love that. Yeah. There's so much more I can say on this, but we'll be here all day.
Super interesting though, and inspirational for people listening that it can be done. What's the most important lesson that you've learned from launching the Middle East market?
The most important lesson I've learned from launching the Middle East has been that no week is the same, no month is the same. You need to be resilient, especially when you're not in the region, as in we don't have an office yet. We are going to in Dubai, which is really exciting, but we don't have physical presence in Dubai. So at the beginning, it was very much, I was getting a lot of knockbacks when I was trying to develop relationships out there. So a lot of our partners were, kind of saying things like, oh, let us know when you're going to launch in the Middle East or when you're going to be here physically. And I had no plans on like relocating, or we weren't in talks of having an office out there at the time. So I was kind of getting knockback after knockback, and I couldn't understand it because we were placing candidates in the US, APAC, across Europe, South Europe and North Europe. And I just couldn't understand why the Middle East market were kind of being a little bit resistant in terms of using my services. So the knockbacks were definitely challenging at the beginning. However, it just takes a couple of partners to give you a chance, and then you can showcase your ability. Yeah, absolutely. They definitely gave me a break. I think I've mentioned it on my LinkedIn profile on International Women's Day, because there were 2 individual amazing inspirational women that gave me that chance and are very much part of my journey, and I'm always going to remember that. Like, I don't forget people that have helped me along the way. So I think there's been many ups and downs. You need to be able to roll with the punches. It's literally like starting a new business within a business, and with that comes, any entrepreneur will tell you that there's lots of ups and downs, and how you face those challenges ultimately shapes you. During and at the end.
And like not giving up when something knocks you back.
Oh yeah. Hard. There's been so many things, and I again, we'll be here all day. I can share so many stories where I felt depleted, deflated. I have felt like giving up, probably more so recently with geopolitical situations, to be honest. However, you've got to show resilience. You've got to show grit. Like, maybe we need another session.
Yeah.
On
Part
that.
2 coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much. So your personal quality, or kind of like professional quality maybe?
So I would say my relationships. I know I use that word so much, but it is so important, because I work for Elite and I am a true ambassador for Elite. And the way it's going at the moment, I probably always will be.
20 years.
20 years. But I think ultimately my partners have bought into me as an individual. And I think I have really nurtured those relationships. I have really delved deeper into those relationships. And I think the most important thing for me was being me.
Being
and
authentic,
but also showcasing my personality and my values and showing that I'm human.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we have a business to run. Yes, we are a business. And, that's obviously, very important to us. But for me, what's important is really delving deeper into those relationships, and the relationships form the partnerships between the businesses. If you don't have the relationship, you're not going to form a partnership, and then it's very transactional. I don't work in a transactional way, and if you speak to some of my partners, I hope they will agree that I don't work in a transactional way. It's not a cash and wrap service for me. I really want to get to know our partners, our candidates on a deeper level. And only then can you build things like honesty, integrity, trust, and you can adhere to one of our values. One of Elite's values is that we genuinely care.
From what I know about you, that I know that about you. Do you know what I mean? From how long I've known you, is that you do care deeply.
Yeah.
About people, about candidates, about your clients as well, especially with what's happened in the past few years.
I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of my role and my leadership style is from the way I am. And also I lead with my faith a lot. So I practice my faith, obviously, as you can see, but I think I kind of use my faith a lot in what I do. And that's where the honesty, integrity, supporting, nurturing comes from as well. So that's never going to leave me. And I love the fact that I can integrate that in my role.
Yeah. It's like a very special trait. Not many people have. Thank you. So what's one career setback maybe that could turn out to be a blessing in disguise?
So I would say COVID was probably a huge setback because I just launched our Middle East division. And I feel like I had gone on an amazing visit to Dubai. I'd met so many partners after launching and after having all those setbacks at the beginning where partners weren't interested in using our services, to finally secure some really, really good meetings. And I remember coming back with so many vacancies, so much business, so many new relationships. I was so excited. I was like, right, this is the start of my journey with the Middle East. And then COVID hit and we locked down. So and that business overnight just disappeared. It really was. However, I had two choices. I either gave up and just waited to be unfurloughed, and because obviously we were all on furlough, or I could keep going and keep the communication going with all of my partners, which I did, and wait very patiently, as the entire world did, for markets to resume. And in my favor, the Middle East was one of the quickest markets to bounce back after COVID. I think our partners took huge advantage of the non-travel, essential travel only. So the clients were staying in their home countries and not traveling over summer 2020, and which meant that they were spending in their own countries, which meant that our partners needed more headcount, and store openings, mall openings resumed. Whereas we thought at the beginning of this pandemic that we weren't gonna, everything was gonna be put on hold, it actually continued. So I think we had quite a few partners that were opening boutiques in Vendome Mall in Doha, which is I love that mall so much. It's the most incredible mall. And they finally opened, and we supported many brands within the mall to place all of their store teams, which I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
And we've gone from strength to strength from that moment.
Yeah, that's an amazing story to hear. Like turning a tragedy into, you know, something positive by
Yeah.
keeping up the relationships as well. That
Yeah.
obviously really helped.
Absolutely.
So something a little bit more personal now.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you were a mother of two lovely daughters.
Yeah.
How has becoming a mother changed you as a leader and as a director?
Oh, that's a really tough question. But it's a good question. It's changed me in ways that I never imagined. I think, like, I am a mother first.
Yeah.
That is the most important role. My children always come first, and they always will come first. My children are, as I mentioned before, are my motivation. So everything I do is for them. Everything. And again, the same way I lead with my faith, I kind of lead with them in mind.
Yeah.
And I want to be an inspiration to them, which is why I took that leap and that risk to leave the UK Ops team and launch something. Also, I am raising two children of colour, two females, and I want them to see their mum succeed.
Yeah.
I wanted to become a director. I wanted to show that there's no glass ceiling. I want them to hear my conversations. You know, obviously there was lots of remote working, and, you know, my children hear my conversations with our partners, our candidates, and I feel like they're already learning. I mean, they're only 12 and 11, but I feel like I could probably hand them my phone and get them to prep a candidate before an interview.
I wonder if that's the route that they will take in your footsteps.
Probably not. One wants to be a lawyer and one wants to be an optician. So the complete opposite of recruitment. Yeah. Maybe I've put them off. But I think just showcasing at home, you know, that I can be a strong, you know, female leader and feel empowered, which ultimately means that I'm empowering them.
Yeah.
But just in answer to your question, it has changed me, yes, massively. It's changed my reasoning, my motivation. You know, the fact that I'm doing it all for them makes me want to succeed even more, but also lead by example, which ties in really nicely with our series.
Yeah, exactly. Who knew? So, okay, we've got a few more questions. Yeah. What's the best piece of career advice that you've ever received?
The best piece of advice I've ever received is there's so many that I've used and implemented and I pass on to other people, is not to give up.
Yeah.
Really accept that there's going to be challenges, especially when you're launching something. Never give up, keep plowing through. But I think, and I use this at home as well with my children, with their education. Obviously they're at school at the moment, but generally in life, like a bit of a life lesson. If you're going to do something, make sure you are exceptional at it.
Yeah.
It could be the most minor thing. It could be something really important. Like, whatever you're doing, do it well and give it your all and do it of a high standard.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to double check that this is still working, because that would be awful, wouldn't it? Oh my God. Okay, we're in. Okay, we've got 3 more.
Okay.
Is that all good?
Yep.
Back into my position. Okay, so if you could leave the future generations of Elite with one message or maybe one piece of advice, what would it be?
I don't know.
Maybe not future generation. I don't like that phrase.
No.
If you could leave, you know, any new starters or people that are new to Elite or maybe new to recruitment, a piece of career advice or a message, what would it be?
I would say, so I think knowing your area of specialism, really specializing in what you do and having knowledge of it, I think is really, really important.
Yeah.
Finding your remit. So mine, ours at Elite is, you know, being specialists within, you know, luxury retail, fashion, fine jewelry, high hospitality, lifestyle brands, beauty, makeup, skincare. We are all experts in the industry. So I think that's really, really important.
Yeah.
Whether you're setting out, whether you're new to recruitment, I think it's so important to understand the industry and have knowledge of the industry, have market insights, understand what brands are doing. And I think that's what also drives me, is the passion that I've got for the industry. So I think areas of specialism, having that knowledge of your industry, and I know it sounds really cliche and cheesy, but having that passion for what you're recruiting for, whether it be fashion brands or skincare or beauty or makeup, just having that knowledge in general.
That makes total sense. It makes it like less of a job and more of a passion then, and you put your heart into it. And
absolutely. I would say I absolutely put my heart and soul into everything that I do, whether it be a placement of a store director, whether it be a placement of a client advisor or a stock controller or a retail director or general manager. I will literally put my heart and soul into the entire process. And I think you also need that might not always be good with certain individuals. Obviously, everyone's kind of built differently, but for me, that's just how I work.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. This probably is a really hard question to answer, but what's harder, being a mother and raising children or launching a new market?
Being a mother, hands down, 100% being a mother, because I can come home from work and I don't always switch off from work. I do think about it a lot, and especially at my level and the fact that I care so much. I do sometimes bring my work home with me, like mentally, but I can switch off from it. I've got the option to switch off from it. Whereas being a mother, I can't switch off from being a mother. And also I live and breathe Elite, which is why I've been with the company for so long. It's a massive part of my life. But ultimately, my children come first, as I've mentioned. And I would definitely say it's a harder job. I'm a real nurturer at home as well with my children. And I'm not a mother. Everyone's got their own parenting style and everyone's got their own idea of motherhood, but mine is quite hands-on. And although I'm in a high-pressured job, I feel like I've learned the art of balancing. I've had 2 children at nursery who began at nursery from a very young age, from 8 months and 9 months old. I've had to be very adaptable. They've had to be very adaptable. And I've had to sacrifice my time with them by leaving them at nursery ahead of their school journeys, which was really, really challenging. And I think, that maybe we can have another episode for working mothers. And I don't want to go off on a tangent about working mothers, but that was really hard for me. And so for me, utilizing every bit of time that I've got with my children is so important. But with that comes so many challenges, because anyone will tell you, when you've got children at nursery, oh my gosh, you have every sickness and illness you could possibly think of.
They pick up a lot.
Brought into your house. And not only that, they're super spreaders. They're little super spreaders.
So you all get it in the house.
We went ages without getting COVID until my child brought it home. So we did so well. So it's that, but there's so much more to it for me. And obviously everyone's on their own personal journey, but motherhood to me is the most rewarding thing, but also the most challenging. And like I said, I think we would need another session just on how challenging it can be. But I love it. Wouldn't change it for the world. It works really, really well. And I think I just want to include that, like that flexibility piece that I mentioned when you asked me what 3 things have made me stay at Elite, is I have had both my children at Elite, and coming back, I think after my second maternity leave, I've never been made to feel like I can't achieve my goals, or I can't do what I've set out to do because I'm a mum.
Yeah.
And I think just the understanding, I would say after my second child, after, you know, just the understanding that comes with the challenges of being a new mum, returning to work, how daunting it can be, then deciding to launch a business at the same time, launch a division at the same time. Yeah, I think that is always going to remain in my heart. So yeah.
Thank you. We just got one more question. Just to round things off, what's been the proudest moment of your career at Elite so far?
The proudest moment of my career so far has been launching the Middle East division, of course. That's kind of clear. I think being one of the most, from not having a division at all, as in not being in the Middle East market, to in the second year of fully running, being the most profitable division. I would say launching the Middle East division has been one of my most proudest moments, taking the risk, you know, leaving my comfort zone, something I knew for so long and I was so used to, the UK market. Taking that risk has been a proud moment for me. Balancing motherhood with my role is also a proud moment. And I think also being, from having no presence in the Middle East to being one of the most profitable divisions within the business at one point is a proud moment for me. And I think the partners that we work with as well, and the candidates and the relationships that we've built, you know, these, like I mentioned, these relationships I'm going to really, really hold on to and are so important to me. And I'm proud of those relationships. I'm proud of all the store openings we've done. I'm proud of all the critical roles we've filled. I'm proud to fill those hard to fill vacancies. So when a partner comes to us and they're like, oh, we've been struggling with this vacancy, or we feel like we've exhausted the market, and I just so happen to have that hidden gem in my talent pool, and I fill that vacancy. Like, filling a vacancy to me is a proud moment every single time, even after nearly 20 years of my career.
You really love what you do.
I really love what I do, and I do it well.
Yeah, that's apparent. It comes across like, I don't need to say that. Thank you so much, Sana, for joining us. It's been really insightful, and like, it's been amazing to hear like your whole journey and like, you know, everything that you've brought and everything that you're passionate about. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah, that was like half an hour. That's some good content.